Friday morning, good morning. It is beautiful outside. I have a couple hours here of work before I gotta get running to our daughter's graduation, our youngest daughter's graduation, and we're pretty excited that we will no longer have kids in school. We have 2 kids at home yet, 2 married, 2 at home, so life is getting exciting. However, I wanted to talk to you this morning about a subject that probably not too many loggers are going to talk to you about. Some of you that are watching this channel might be like, what? Christian loggers? Not too many of those. They're usually a rough crowd, and that could be the case. So be it. I am going to talk about God and some of my feelings lately. So as some of you may know, probably not too many on the YouTube channel know, my wife and I like to entertain, and we like to be social. We like to cook, and we like to have youth, young marrieds, and people at our house. We bought our land in 2016, and in 2017 I just started doing some work on it, and every year I do a little bit more. We owned a schoolhouse at the time that we had renovated, and we're living in it, and it had a gym, and we did a lot of entertaining: graduation parties, weddings, birthday parties, just youth gatherings, you name it, we held it. And it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it, and it turned into a stable place, I guess you would say, for a lot of youth, especially during COVID, to come and have a safe place to go, a place they could feel at home, meet other youth, and it just turned into a really cool deal that my wife and I really enjoyed. Well, fast forward, we had the land, had the school, and our dream was to live on the land. We couldn't own the school and the land and build everything all at the same time. So we decided, well, we were getting a little financially tight at one point. So we were at the point, well, we're gotta sell one. So we put them both for sale and decided, well, whichever one sells, we're keeping the other one. Just kind of like, well, we didn't know what we're supposed to do, but we had to get out of the financial trouble we were in. It wasn't crazy, but most people would probably say it wasn't trouble, but I didn't like where we were at. So we put both of them up for sale. So we had interest in both of them. We sold the school 3 times before it actually sold. And the land, we had lots of interest in it. Had one buyer who offered cash. He said, would you take this amount cash for it? I said, yes, if you do it this week. And so we thought we had the land sold, although we really wanted to keep the land and sell the school. It was a real toss-up for us. Anyway, COVID came, and the buyer was not, actually it wasn't COVID, it was actually, I believe, the year before COVID technically ended, which election year. I don't want to get into politics, but you know what I mean. So he was the buyer was very unsure of the market. So he asked if I would hold on to it and sell it to him for that price the next spring so he could see what the markets turn into. I said, no. If you're gonna buy it this week. That's my offer. This week only. After that, we're gonna keep doing things to the land. It's been our dream. Anyway, long story short, he did not buy the land. We ended up selling the school, so we have the land, and we love it back there. And we decided it was time to build, because that was the whole point of selling the school. Well, we went back and forth, like, what do we build, what do we build? The whole time we kept it in the back of our minds that we feel like we should build something to continue what was started at the school for youth, for young marrieds, for basically anybody really. We wanted to create a place, or we want to create a place for families, for youth, for anybody to come and experience just reconnection with people, with God, with nature, with basically anything, you know, just kind of a different kind of place for people to come. Like when people come to our place, we want them to be able to just let their hair out and just relax and say, ah, this was so good to be here, rejuvenated. I don't know, it's hard to tell you exactly the dream that I see or that I feel like we're supposed to do. Linda and I vary a little bit, but not a lot. She's more along just food and a place for people to learn how to get back to basics. I'm more about nature and outdoors, nature, hikes, walks, deer, fish, you name it, outdoors. I'm outdoors, she's indoors. So we started this building project after we figured out what we wanted to build, and right away we hit some trouble. The first one was after we got all the perk tests done and approved, I should say. We had the concrete done and they started putting the septic in, and we'd already started the building process, so we couldn't go backwards on it. I was working out west and the plumber called and said, well then call me, we have a problem. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Called him and he said, they shut us down. I was like, what do you mean they shut us down? He said, they shut the septic down, they won't approve it. I was like, you're kidding me. I said, I thought we got a septic, you know, got the perk test done and it was approved. He said, we did. He said, we hit a little bit of redox, and if anybody knows what redox is, it's a little bit of red dirt that supposedly doesn't drain and causes what they call a bathtub effect. Well, they didn't like that for some dumb reason and said, no, you can't do it. I said, well, I don't want to put a mountain system in. I said, I hate mountain systems, and there's no reason to have a mountain system because we're in pure sand, water drains. I have video proof of water draining. There's just no reason not to put a drain field in here. And they just absolutely refuse to give us the sanitary permit for our build. Even though I know of 3 other people in the immediate area that have soil way worse than ours, and they approve those, but they will not approve ours. We had multiple state meetings, we had multiple county meetings, and they're coming. This is last year, and now this year they're coming again next week to do some more digging and see if they can't find some soil that is something that they like, something that obviously we're at the point now it has to be perfect, because they're not going to approve it unless it's perfect, because they're so far in that they want to prove they are absolutely right, and they for some reason want to force us to get a mountain system in there when there's no reason to get a mountain system. My mom, short story, my mom is actually building on our property as well, on the other side of the field. Well, they were giving her the same trouble, but we finally found a vein of soil that is good enough, but they said, oh, it might have too much rock in it. It's good, but it might be too good. I just like looked at him, I said, what in the world? I said, can a guy even win with you guys? I just wanted to throw them down the hole, honestly. I was like, here, let's see if you drain. But yeah, it was just, I was so mad, I was so frustrated. And then this spring come along, and we still don't have it figured out. It's still not remedied, and I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. But this spring come along, we had the guys siding the house. I was working, obviously, and the contractor called and said, hey, well, we got a problem. I said, are you kidding me? Now what? He said, well, all the siding is 2 inches too short. We have steel siding. And so, you know, it's one sheet of steel from top to bottom. Well, last fall, the contractor who measured the steel measured it wrong, which I know what he did, and he told me what he did, which I see how that would be easy to, you know, to mess up. But long story short, we had all the steel ordered last year, and so we had the steel sitting there waiting, all ready to put up. And it was 2 inches too short. So guess what? We had to order a special trim to go on the bottom, raise the bottom edge by 2 inches, order more steel, because another problem was when the pallet of steel got delivered and set on the ground for the winter, they didn't have it blocked, or, you know, like underneath it to keep it off the ground right. They had one place where it was not, I can't think what you call it. Anyway, like you take like a 2x2 or a 2x4 underneath it to hold it off the ground. Anyway, one spot, it was not underneath it properly. So we had like 15 sheets of steel get bent and damaged. So those were no good. So it's been a frustrating spring. It's been a frustrating build. And I'm at the point before this week, I was like, man, is this really what we're supposed to do? Even though we feel like we're supposed to do it, is this actually what we're supposed to be doing? Or is God trying to say, you know what? You guys are going down the wrong path. You're missing it. And I was like, man, we feel so strong that we're supposed to do this. Are we supposed to do it or are we not? How do you know when you're supposed to do something, when you're not supposed to do it? So this week I decided I give up, and I should have gave up a long time ago, but I was like, I am done fighting this. I'm not strong enough to fight the county. I'm wore out, tired of thinking about it, and obviously I don't think we can live in the camper another winter. I don't think that legally they're gonna let us, but I don't know what to do because we can't afford to rent another place plus be as far in as we are in the building. So I don't know what we're gonna do. So I just had a little conversation with God and said, you know what, I don't know what to do anymore, so it's all yours. We are way over budget already. We're way under time, over our time, and our patience is not very great anymore. We're loving living on the land, but we're not liking that this building project is costing us way more time and way more money than we wanted it to. So I don't know if you have some good advice for me, and I don't know why I'm telling you this story, but I am. And I don't know if I told you all the details that I should, but I told you what I know, that we're frustrated, and I don't know how this build is going to get done at this point. But I'm also relaxed in the idea that if God wants us to do this, then obviously God can make it happen. So in a way, I'm kind of excited at this point because I can sit back and watch God work now instead of trying to watch myself work against the odds that seem to be mounting up for us. Our goal for the property is we have hiking trails, we have a fishing pond, we have animals, and the idea would be eventually to put some cabins up where people can come and rent, families, mostly a family oriented idea where families can come, relax, have a weekend, a week, or whatever. Kids can come and experience the countryside, some, you know, family friendly animals, Linda and I would cook for them. We would teach them to cook if they don't know how to cook. We have a garden. We got some awesome sunsets. We got the lake. We got the pond, the fishing pond. You know, the idea is for a place for people to come, relax, reconnect with God, with nature. Just kind of a new experience for people if they've never had that, if they just need to get away. And you know what the cool thing is? They can walk to town from our property. Our property borders the edge of a small little town, and we've got restaurants. There's a laundromat. We got a little grocery store. Dollar General, of course, is down the road. So you can walk to all these places, and yet you feel like you're way out in the country. And I don't know, we just feel like that's what we're supposed to do, but we keep hitting roadblocks. And so I don't know, that maybe God's just testing us to see what our commitment level is. And maybe for some reason we're being delayed. I have no idea. But at this point, we're going to continue on and see what happens. But as of now, I'm not stressing over it anymore. I mean, I say I'm not, but I kind of am. But I am also just relaxing and saying, you know what, it's beyond my control. So I am going to stop my rambling here, and hopefully I covered everything that I was going to. When I'm working and talking and no notes, nothing, I kind of forget if I caught everything I was going to catch. So if you could leave in the comments whether this was confusing to you, if it made sense. I really don't know what I'm doing on YouTube yet. I screw up all the algorithms for YouTube. I know that because I'm so random. I don't stick with one subject on my videos. So people say you gotta find your niche for everything, but my niche is that I'm not normal, and I probably won't find a specific niche. And I guess that's okay, because I'm not doing this for likes, for subscriptions, for whatever. Although, you know, I'm not going to complain if I get to that point of being monetized, but that's not my goal. My goal is I just like to ramble sometimes, and I like helping people. So if somehow my YouTube videos at some point help someone, that's what it's about. Is just, it helps me to ramble sometimes, to talk, and maybe somewhere down the road it'll help someone else. Who knows? Very rarely does my talking help anybody, but maybe someday it will. And as I've said before, my advice is generally exactly what you pay for. So I'm gonna sign out with that. And I gotta get to my daughter's graduation ceremony soon. Have a good Friday. I'll check in with you later.